And we're back, and we're moving into our next conversation for this morning. One of the things that we're told consistently as a means of protection if we have to go out into the public is that you can use a mask to help to protect yourself and to protect other people. And so joining us this morning, we have a dental student with us, Cassandra Gloria, and she is going to tell us all about the do's and don'ts of wearing masks. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm really good. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much. It's a great honor.
This is, really important conversation because none of us are accustomed to wearing masks. In fact, I find I touch my face more when I'm wearing a mask versus not wearing it. So it's a big learning curve for us.
Of course, definitely. Yeah, no, see, the thing with me is that I'm a dental student. So in the clinical practice, this is something that I have learned throughout my years of practicing, and we have to use a mask constantly. And so we have the etiquette, but a lot of common folk do not. And that's why I think that this is very important that we learn how to properly use a mask.
Yeah. So, as you said, as a dentist especially, because you're so close to someone's mouth and all the respiratory droplets that come with that, this is part of your foundation that you learn how to use a mask and use it properly.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start off with our educational segment. I know you've been paying attention to people in the public. What are some of the things that you're seeing people do that you just like to tell them, don't?
Okay, definitely. I have some examples here of some masks, so I'm going to go ahead and put one on. This one was made out of cloth. I notice a lot of people are going to seamstresses to be able to make these kind of masks, and it's great. But what I'm noticing is that people are tending to do like this. And you see, if you notice, my entire nose is exposed. So I'm still inhaling any kind of viral particles that may be present. Or they take it off because, it's too hot, and they leave it on their neck. Whatever virus was trapped here is now in contact with your skin, is touching your face, and you're exposed. So these are things that we definitely have to practice to make sure that we don't have this issue,
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't hang it around your neck.
No, do not hang it around your neck. If you feel like you have the urge that you must take it off, it's better to take it off and dispose of it and get a new one, or to take it off, wash your hands. It's constantly a battle between washing your hands, putting on the mask, washing your hands, taking off the mask, washing your hands afterwards. So one thing that I definitely have to say is don't adjust it when it's on your face. Don't mess with it. Don't touch your nose, your eyes, and then, scratch yourself. That's putting you at risk.
Yeah.
You're basically just going against the purpose of using a mask.
So once you have it on, the suggestion is that you leave it on.
Exactly. And to not mess with it constantly. If you have to take it off, you take it off, wash your hands, put on the next one, wash your hands. It's like a constant process.
Now, we noticed that while there are N95 masks out there for purchase, we're also seeing that persons are going a lot for the reusable masks, those that are made from cloth or some other kind of material. Now, when we look at the etiquette of the use of reusable masks, how often would you suggest for these masks to be cleaned before reusing?
So definitely every time you leave the door and you have the mask on, when you come back home, take it off immediately, wash it immediately. That will prevent any spread of germs from outside into your home. So you definitely want to deal with that.
Okay.
Washing it as often as possible.
So, but that's if you put it on and you don't touch it and don't take it off until you return back indoors.
Definitely.
So, it's kind of just reminding us of the science as to how a mask offers protection. So in the United States, for example, it's now mandatory in some states for people to wear masks when outdoors. Explain to us how it protects us so that we can know why, the little things like taking a break because it's hot to wear or it's uncomfortable or itchy. Taking little breaks in between actually it undoes the entire process of protecting yourself.
So basically what the purpose of these masks is to ensure that whatever particles are released from you are not spread to others, and whatever particles are spread from others are not contaminating you. So it's really important that when you use these masks, you're covering the entire surface of your face, You have, for example, in the case, a lot of people have these standard blue masks, right? The typical surgical mask. you have to ensure that it's completely open and it's wrapped around your face, and that you're pressing down on the nose here to ensure that it's really in there. And what you want to do is to basically make sure that you're not touching these constantly, because the whole purpose of the mask is to stop viral particles from leaving a person and viral particles from entering a person. So a lot of patients are, as we say, asymptomatic. Now, in regular terms, these are people who are sick or who have the virus but are not showing any symptoms, they don't have fever, they're not coughing, they're not sneezing. But simply by coughing, they can be spreading these viral particles. So we don't want to have that happening any at all. So we definitely recommend that people use masks and use it effectively.
All right, so you talk us through the process of putting on our masks.
Okay, definitely. All right, so I have an example here of a mask that a lot of people have been using. This one in itself is not capable of protecting you effectively. So what I've been doing is that I've been reinforcing them with a coffee filter. So you basically put a coffee filter. This is something that everyone has access to, so it's a simple process, right? You fold it in the shape of a half moon. You insert it into the part of the mask that will be contacting your face, and you have to make sure that the wire here, most of the masks have wires, even in these they have these wires, as you can see at the top here.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that that is facing upward, and that whatever color the mask may be is facing outwards. If you have it towards your face like this, it defeats the purpose. It's not serving you any function whatsoever. So you really have to make sure that you have it done the right way, because you could be wearing a mask but it's upside down, or it's inside out. So you have to really make sure that you're doing it the right way. So now that I've inserted my coffee filter, I'm going to basically put on a mask. Obviously, before doing any of this, your surfaces have to be clean, your hands have to be clean. So I have my hand sanitizer here, but I'm sure everyone has seen hand washing techniques by now. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump straight to the process, right? So as you can see, I put on my mask. I'm pressing down on the nose part here to make sure that it wraps around my face and it's covering everything.
Yeah.
Not very important. When I take off the mask, I am not going to touch here at all. I'm going to grab the straps and using only my fingers, remove and dispose immediately.
Yeah. Okay, so first thing, you have to have clean hands to put on your mask. You don't want to just, like I wouldn't just get up from here and put on a mask. I have to go wash my hands before I put it on so it stays sterile. It has to be stored somewhere sterile. It can't just be hanging around on my counter and I put it on. Okay.
Exactly.
And then
there has to be new masks every time, or a clean mask if you're in the case of the reusable ones. Ensure that it has just been washed.
And the seal, I keep on hearing you talking about pinching the nose. The seal is essential. Can we talk about that? Because I've seen somewhere it's not covering their chin, or it's hanging halfway down their nose, or like I can see their mouth from the side because it's so loose on the sides. Let's talk about that part.
Definitely. So that's what I'm going to show you right here. As you can see, this is a little metal wire. What this metal wire is designed to do is to wrap around the nose to ensure that the mask is flat against your face and is hugging the contours of your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the mask also opens to ensure that you have your entire chin and lower face region inside the mask.
Okay.
So that's also very important. So when you place it on, remember to press it down. And then, of course, with these ones, you tie them behind the head and the neck. But it's to make sure that everything is wrapped properly. As you can see, nothing is exposed. You do not want to have the masks drooping, or I've seen some people that have it like this, just like that placed on, and you're not covering anything. So you want to make sure that you really get everything covered.
Okay, yeah.
That's interesting.
How about, so Sandy mentioned like the N95 masks, and some people are reusing the same masks each day. What's your advice on that? I mean, it might be an availability thing.
Yeah,
which ones can you reuse, and which ones should you absolutely not even try?
Okay, any N95 mask or any mask that is intended to be disposable, like this one that I've been using or this white one, you need to throw those away and change them as frequently as often. However, I do recommend that in the case that you can't afford to be buying masks constantly, you can even do this with a cloth, where you open up the cloth, you insert the coffee filter as I mentioned, And you can basically tie it around your head or use rubber bands to put it on your head. And now with these ones, you change them by, like I said, when you leave the house, you wear it. When you come back home, you take it off immediately and you wash it. And
Yeah.
that's a great way to prevent the spread of the disease.
Okay. What about I've seen people using like the fishing gear.
Or the neck gaiter.
Yeah. Does
I
that
think
work?
sorry, continue.
No, I was asking you if that works as well.
I've seen a lot of people using that as well. Now, my thing is that if you're going to use any kind of fabric, just make sure that you basically double up the protection by inserting those coffee filters like I mentioned. Although I wouldn't really recommend using the fishing gear, because what happens is that you have to pull it over your face, so it's like making contact over your face, and when you're done you have to stretch it down, so you basically, there's no way for you to remove it without getting the front part of it all over your face. And so that basically defeats the purpose, so I definitely would recommend something that you can untie, or that you can, remove, like an elastic that you can remove it by stretching it and just pulling everything off without having it basically rub on your face.
Yeah. So another part that I hear from you is that in removing the mask, you also must be very careful. Can you explain that to us?
Yes, definitely. Now, like I said, if you're removing the mask and it's contacting your face, well, then that defeats the whole purpose. That's why I mentioned that when you remove the mask, you have to grab it by the rubber, but not touching your face. Grab it by the rubber, and you lift it up. And you notice I haven't touched the front part of the mask. My hands have not touched that mask, and the mask has not touched my face, and I can dispose of it. And it's very simple. So it's not a difficult technique. Obviously, with practice, you'll get the hang of it, but that's the best way to remove it, to ensure that you're not touching your face and spreading that disease that may be present on the surface of the mask onto your face and mouth, nose, eyes.
Wow. So, I mean, it's literally just kind of working under the assumption that you have virus particles on your mask and you just want to not come in contact with it at all.
Exactly. You have to constantly assume that you are contaminated, that the mask is contaminated. So the best way to prevent that, any kind of spread, is to, like I said, remove it the proper way, put it on the proper way, and wash your hands. And obviously, the best prevention is staying home. Stay home. It's that simple, So
if you stay home, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Because you're in the same environment. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the cloth ones, what about moisture? Because, you have moisture in your breath when you talk, and it's the same thing with some of the lighter materials. Is it a bad thing if your mask gets wet? Should you change it?
Well, I would definitely recommend that if your mask gets wet from the outside, then you definitely should change it, But on the inside, that's the benefit of using the coffee filters. The coffee filters are basically try to trap any moisture that you may be emitting, that you may be releasing from your body. So obviously, these masks are not the most comfortable thing in the world. We all know that. I'm sure everyone who's been wearing them can say the same, But it's not a matter of comfort, it's a matter of safety. And more than anything, you may feel the urge to itch, to scratch. You may feel a little bit sweaty under there. But know that the mask is doing its job. That's the important thing.
All right. So key thing, cover your nose, pinch it to your nose, make sure it's flat to the contour of your face. Even if you're making your own, you want to consider that. And it goes under the chin as well. And don't touch your masks. Once you put it on with clean hands, don't touch it again until it's time to take it off, and specifically from another surface other than the one right in front of your face.
Exactly. So remove it from the elastics or untie it behind your head without making any contact with the surface of the mask whatsoever.
Nice. Any other final tips for us, Cassandra? Which one is the most comfortable that you found? Because they can be really uncomfortable.
Well, my all-time favorite are the ones that I use the most in the clinic, so they would be like these ones.
Okay.
But like I said, I would definitely recommend that you reinforce it with the coffee filters, as I mentioned before, because then that prevents any kind of spread of the smaller particles that, may not be that may be filtered through this, so it would prevent that from spreading.
So you still reinforce that one with a coffee filter?
That personally I do, and that's why I mentioned to all of my loved ones, I put up a video on YouTube about it, is that it's the simple way to just reinforce these masks, basically making them more effective and keeping yourself safe and your loved ones safe as well.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that advice with us as well.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate the tips because,
definitely.
you know, we've all made a few mistakes with our masks so far, but we're not medical professionals, so we do appreciate it. All right,
Thank you
stay
so
safe.
Same to you. God bless. Stay safe.
All right.
Stay home.
I know. Stay home, stay safe. That's what we say.